Hello and welcome to a whole nother awesome review. Today I'm going to review the movie Man of Steel. I just got back from the really late showing of Man of Steel, the first showing, in my movie theater. And all I gotta say is that was the greatest Superman movie I have ever seen in my entire life. I have seen all the original Superman movies. Just recently I watched them all, And I gotta say, the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeves was a classic. It was a fantastic film. And I don't think anybody could ever be as great as Christopher Reeves. He is the greatest Superman. But I gotta say that I know this is going to be very controversial on the internet and everything, but I think that Michael Shannon was the greatest Superman villain there ever was. His performance as General Zod tops the original General Zod. And that has to be something, fantastic. Now, I'm not saying Kevin Spacey's performance as Lex Luthor wasn't good, because it was fantastic too. But there's something magical about Zack Snyder's Man of Steel movie. And it's the fact that it's grounded in reality. It takes place in the real world, where Superman Returns takes place in almost a comic book-like world. The whole idea of Man of Steel was to take Superman and put him into the real world. And that's what they did in this movie. Amy Adams, to me, was the best Lois Lane. Now, I know that's going to be controversial too, because a lot of people like the original Lois Lane and the original Superman movies. But Amy Adams put a twist on Lois Lane. She, came out and she said, I'm going to be Lois Lane and I'm going to make her real. And, that's what she did in this movie. Now, Marlon Brando, of course, was fantastic as Superman's father in the original movie. And I gotta give him props to that. Would I say Russell Crowe was better than Marlon Brando? No. But I would say they're just as good as each other. I really like Russell Crowe's interpretation of the character. And I thought he did a really good job. And I gotta give him props for that. So I would say they're on the same level. Also, I would say Superman is on the same level in this movie. Now, okay, before anybody gets angry right now, because I know that all the Christopher Reeve fans are out there, oh my god, did he just say that he's just as good as Christopher Reeve? Hold up here, okay? Let me tell you guys why this was a good performance of Superman. Because Superman in this movie is its own interpretation. Sure, it is Superman from the comics, but it's its own thing, alright guys? Christopher Reeves had his own Superman. This is a totally different Superman than Christopher Reeves, in my opinion. It's a little bit different. There's a much more serious, and that's really what they're going with in this movie. Kind of like a Dark Knight thing going on. And it just feels like a different character. There's a lot of different things about this character than Christopher Reeves. When they did Superman Returns, they were trying to remake Christopher Reeves, which was horrible. Do not remake his character. Make it your own, but keep it like Superman. Alright guys, that's what I'm saying, alright? Now, the visuals in this movie were fantastic. They were outstanding. Oh my god, they were amazing. I don't care what anyone says, alright? The explosions in this movie, oh my god, everything looked amazing in this movie. When I was watching this movie, it felt like a dream. I was watching this movie in 3D, by the way. The 3D in this movie was fantastic, and the movie felt surreal to me because it felt like something that I would make up in my own mind of what Superman would be. And I don't know if anybody else felt like that, but that's what it felt like. It felt really dreamlike, like everything was meant to be this way. And I've never felt like that in a movie. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if Superman did this? And then he actually did it in the movie. That's just what, how Zack Snyder's mind works. His visuals are outstanding. You could tell that Christopher Nolan was a producer in this movie because it had a very dark tone. But Zack Snyder is the director, and you got to give him props even more than Christopher Nolan. A lot of people are saying, oh, Christopher Nolan. Oh, because No, it's not Zack Snyder, people. Zack Snyder directed this movie, so give him the credit, alright? And Zack Snyder made these visuals real. And even Christopher Nolan would say, thank you, Zack Snyder, for directing this movie, because it was Zack Snyder's movie, alright? And I just really like it, and I think it feels different than Dark Knight in a lot of ways, but I think there is a serious tone there, too, that is kind of like Dark Knight, but it has its own thing going on in this movie. And I felt like I was on Superman's planet, and I've never felt like that before. They've never really gone into depth about Superman's planet in the original movies, and in this movie they did. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to go to Superman's planet, experience what happened, and that's what Zack Snyder gave me. So I don't care what anybody says about any criticism about this movie. To me, this is a perfect movie, and maybe you disagree, maybe you don't think it's perfect, but to me it was perfect. And I'm going to give this movie a 10 out of 10. And Michael Shannon, to me, in this movie, gave his character so much depth as General Zod. And the flashbacks in this movie were fantastic. Oh my god, this was the perfect Superman movie. I got to tell you guys, this is my favorite Superman movie I ever watched in my entire life. I'd probably say, I would probably go, the original Superman, and then actually, I would put this ahead of the original Superman movie. I know a lot of people are going to be angry about that, but I would say that Christopher Reeves and the Superman in this movie are on the same level. But to me, this is my favorite Superman movie, and you got to respect that. Okay, I've seen the original, and this is my favorite Superman movie. So please just respect my opinion. This is the way I really wanted to, see Superman, like in the real world. I always wanted it to be really realistic and feel authentic, and that's what Nolan and Zack Snyder did here. And the visuals in this movie, the fight scenes. Oh my god, the fight scenes were so cool. Oh my god, they were awesome. I was like, oh my god, this is the coolest thing I have ever seen. Like, oh my god, it was amazing. This movie's so freaking good. I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray. I swear to God, I'm gonna buy this day one on Blu-ray. All right, are you listening, guys? I'm gonna buy this day one. I'll even review the Blu-ray. I will review the Blu-ray. That's how good this movie is. I can't wait to see the behind-the-scenes documentary. This film was actually filmed 2 hours away from where I live, which is really cool. And I noticed some things from near where I live, and it's filmed in Nanaimo, Vancouver, California. Oh my god, like the filming in this movie is fantastic. You can notice that he actually went out and he filmed stuff. Like, they didn't just like CGI everything like in a lot of comic book films. He actually went out and he filmed the stuff, and then he put the CGI in later, and it just felt all real to me. And the way Superman was flying in this movie, I've never seen something look so perfect. So 10 out of 10 for me. Check this movie out. Fantastic. The 3D was amazing. Check it out. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. Check this movie out. Amazing. Have an awesome night.